Hi everyone, welcome to this journey with me, Flojo. We are going to be creating a PowerApp and Flow application that is super lightweight. We're not going to be using any of the CDS at all. We're going to be using variables and a dynamic section of our PowerApp that we only have to create once. We'll click on a team and it's going to change the images, it's going to change the team information, it's going to change the scores, all stored locally on variables. So if you want to find out, obviously you're going to have to follow through all of the videos. The videos are going to be split up into different sections, so if you're just here looking to find information on how to, for example, create a high-level workflow and design an application, then this first video is going to be for you, because that's what we're doing today. We're doing a high-level overview workflow and actually how we can create our application. But if you, for example, want to just look at custom connectors, all of the videos are going to be broken down into one-time uses as well. So you can either follow all the way through, or you can actually just focus on one video. So let's get started with the high-level workflow video today. Okay, so this is the high-level overview. What we're actually going to do then at this point is look at our application design from a very high level. This means that we're not actually going to need any technical knowledge at this point in time. Obviously in the future we're going to look at more detail, all of the different areas and aspects that we're creating, but right now we just want to kind of design our application so that we actually know what's going on, what we actually want to achieve, and we want to do all of this without any technical knowledge. So how I do this then is I kind of just do a workflow, hence the name Flojo. I do a workflow of what I actually want to do. So let's start then at our PowerApp. So I know I want to create a PowerApp, and within that PowerApp I want to be able to press a team, for example, from the NHL, and I want to retrieve some information. So for me to do that, I need to send a trigger which then goes off to Flow, and then I need to pass information to Flow. So at that point I know now that my PowerApp needs to talk to Flow. Okay, cool. So then what happens? Then we get to the state of having a custom connector. So within our Flow process we need a custom connector that actually connects to the NHL, and we need it to do something. So at this point in time what we've done is we know we want a PowerApp, we know we need to contact Flow, and we know within Flow we're going to have a custom connector. Awesome. So that's what the visual representation in front of you is showing right now. Now in there we need to do something called a HTTP request within our custom connector. Now you only need to know this as a high level right now, so don't worry if you don't understand what this means, but we'll definitely go into more detail about this. So what a HTTP request is basically an API request to the NHL. So that's going to then send a request to the NHL. The NHL is going to receive that request and it's going to create a response. So at this point in time, we're on our PowerApp, we've pressed the team, a flow's been triggered, we've passed some information in, it's been then passed to our custom connector, which has been kicked off within our flow. It has sent a request to the NHL. The NHL has received that request and now is going to provide a response. That response is then going to go back to our flow. Then once we are on our flow, we have all the information back. Great. Now we have that information back. What do we need to do with it? We need to clean it to make sure that we get the correct information that we want out, and then we want to send it back to our PowerApp. So the clean data then gets returned to our PowerApp from Flow, and then we can then use that data to display on our application. So that is a very high level overview of what we're going to do. So just to recap, we're going to start a PowerApp, we're going to go off to Flow. Flow is going to be triggered by the PowerApp with some information that we pass through, i.e. a team name or something similar. That team name is then going to get passed through to our custom connector. The custom connector is then going to basically send a request off to the third party, which in this case is the NHL. Once that is done, it's going to decide what information to send back to us. We receive that information back to Flow. Flow then handles that information, which at that point we can actually clean the data, and then we can pass that information back to our Power App and then use that information on our Power App to display however we want to. So we did it, guys. We actually created a high-level overview workflow for our application. Now we know what we need to do to actually achieve the goal that we set out. So my goal was to actually create a Power Apps application that was lightweight, retrieved some team information and displayed it to me on my phone. So what do I need to do that? I know that I need a Power App, which obviously I'm going to start with. I need to send some information to Flow, which then needs to send some information to the NHL. To do that, I need a custom connector to their API, and then I get the information back. I need to make sure that information is clean and easily usable on my Power App, and then I can display that information back to the user. Now what this does is it allows you to, especially if you're working with a client, take a user journey and actually map out the actual path through the actual applications, the Power Platform applications, to actually create a really nice and easy to understand application with actually the foresight of problems that you may run into. So for example, I know that I needed to pass information from Power Apps to Flow. If I did not know how to do that, I know that I'm going to need to go look at it, actually find out how to do that information and pass that information to it, etc. So I hope that video helped you guys. There's going to obviously be many more in this series as we take our journey from just a single Power Apps application, passing all of that information, retrieving all the information back, and then displaying it to the user and creating a fully functional application that's extremely lightweight. So let me know what you think in the comments, and also you can connect with me on Twitter at flow_joe_. And if you have any information or any comments or any questions at all, just contact me anywhere and I'll be happy to help you. Thanks a lot.